You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network. Now the largest new media platform on the web and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Snooki and Jwoww After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Snooki and Jwoww After Show.
Here comes. Ready? And pose.
Boom. All right.
Wow.
Thanks for doing, and we're here doing another episode of Snooki and Jwoww, Season 1. Woohoo! Episode 11, My Baby is Boring. That's the name of the episode. I don't think Snooki and Gianni's baby could ever be boring.
That's impossible. That is impossible.
But, you know, Christy, we have to just give a shout out to Snooki and a huge congratulations. Woo!
To the new baby boy, Lorenzo. Yay!
Yay! So, as many of you know, Snooki gave birth to a wonderful, healthy baby boy, Lorenzo. So we just had to put that out before starting the show. But I am your host, Erika Vierka, and I am joined here with...
I am Christy-Anne Lopez, a.k.a. Hotspot.
Woohoo! And my Jersey Shore name is Evie Sparkle.
Love it.
Yep. I'm back after a couple weeks, so I am so sad to have been gone, but I'm so glad to be back.
I missed you.
I know, I miss being
There's
here.
so much drama without you.
There was a lot of drama the last few weeks, so yeah, I'm glad to be back, but I missed some pretty good episodes. But so let's get started with this week's episode. You know, a wrap up from last week's fight with Roger and Jwoww. You know, it seemed like they kind of cleaned things up pretty nicely, or they try to almost wrap a little bow around the whole issue. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, last week was just so intense. It didn't really seem like there was going to be much more to carry on with it. So it was kind of good to kind of see them, you know, just kind of bury the hatchet a little bit.
Yeah.
To me, I don't know, I felt like there was still a little bit underlying tension there. Like things weren't super happy-go-lucky quite yet, but they're working on it. I feel like they're finally kind of seeing eye to eye in their own unique love-hate type of way.
I see that too. I mean, like I said before, it almost seems like they were trying to kind of finish, for the purposes of the show and the episode, they're trying to kind of, you know, wrap up that fight in the best way they could and film the little, you know, thing of them talking about it. But I'm sure there's underlying things that will continue throughout the relationship. But,
yeah,
you know, it was sweet. He said, you know, I love you. I fell in love with you, crazy as you are. And I'm sure she feels the same about him. And there might be one of those couples that's just that kind of volatile relationship, and there'll be ups and downs.
Yeah. I mean, like I said before, I think that they obviously fight hard, but they love really hard too.
Yeah. They're passionate people, and you can tell.
Yeah.
And you can tell in the way that they interact with one another. But
yeah. And he brought up marriage, kind of. You know, he did say that eventually, one day down the line, it could happen.
He could see himself getting married to her.
Yeah.
Which, you know, at least for a lot of guys, I mean, that's a step in the right direction.
That is a step. That is a step. The word. Yeah.
You know, and he said, you know, we're not ready yet, but it's something that he could consider, that he would consider.
Yeah.
Which I can see that.
That's good enough.
Yeah.
That's a good step.
Yeah.
Like you said.
It is. I mean, it's a step in the right direction.
Right.
And so first comes love, and then comes baby.
Then comes baby for some.
So they had these two. They had these two fake babies. Jwoww and Snooki, or Jwoww ordered these babies from, I don't know, online.
Yeah.
And it looked like it was intended. Those babies are intended almost like to avoid pregnancy to promote abstinence.
Yeah, I really wonder. I want to go to the website and kind of see like what the purpose of those babies are. Is it like a practice round for pregnant people, or is it to give your your teenager like, all right, do you really want a child, because this is what it's going to be like?
Exactly.
Either way, I thought it was a good idea and absolutely hilarious for Jwoww to be like, all right, we have babies now.
Here's a surprise, Snooki.
Yeah.
Like, here you go. Here's open up your little present. And she opens it and she's like, what the hell?
What is this?
Like, thank you. No.
And I just think it's funny what Snooki's reaction is, because I feel like with someone with baby fever or a pregnant mom, are always just kind of like, oh, baby stuff, oh, baby.
Yeah.
And she's still kind of like, well, what?
Yeah.
Why? What is this? Like, well, that's what's going inside of you, and you should be ready to deal with it by now, I think. I hope.
I mean, I think it is good practice, and kind of going back to what you said, I think they're more intended for teenagers and for preventing pregnancy and that whole thing. But this is almost should be like somewhat of a requirement for new moms to be.
Yeah.
Just to play around with this doll. Just, it looks like, even for a few days to get a sense of things.
Yeah.
And, how they were up all night. You saw Snooki at 3:30 in the morning feeding this baby.
I mean, it sounded really creepy. As soon as it came out of the box, they said it was already breathing. I'm already freaked out. I'm like, wait, what? Breathing doll?
Yeah.
That's sick. Like, who would even?
And I don't know if you had those growing up, like the baby alive.
I did.
'Cause I did too.
Yeah.
It actually, the baby would like poo.
Yeah.
And you'd feed it.
Yes. Oh my God. And it was like warm and like, oh my gosh.
It seems like Baby Alive, like on steroids.
Oh my God. Yes.
Baby Alive 2.0 on steroids. Like.
So you might get a delivery. You might get a surprise delivery, Sparkle, my friend.
Yeah, but I'm not pregnant. I don't need. I'm not there yet. Please, I do not. I don't need that. Christy hotspot.
But I did think it was very cute that the entire time Snooki was calling it Lorenzo. Like, she was set. She knew it was gonna hurt. It was a baby boy, and she was ready to kind of take care of it, I guess.
And I thought it was funny. I mean, obviously they edit things, so who knows? Maybe they did this after she found out the sex of the baby. But in the purposes of the episode, it looked like she got this baby before she found out the sex, and she got a little boy.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh wow, and she already knew, Lorenzo is the name, and
she
all
called
that.
it.
And what I thought was funny, I don't know if you noticed this, was at one point they show her holding the baby, and it's wrapped in like a leopard blanket.
Of course. That is so funny.
I wonder what the nursery is going to be like.
I know.
Is it going to be like leopard?
Well, I think in one of our news and gossips, she had like got a ton of like animal print, like diaper bags and this and that. So Lorenzo's going to be a little animal. Just.
I mean, leopard is more of a girl thing, though.
I feel like that's a little bit more of a girl thing. Well, but it's a Snooki thing, so whatever she says goes, I guess.
I guess so. But I do have to go back to the whole thing with the babies, and I just thought this was hilarious when Jenny was ordering the baby, and she's like, options. She's like, well, can I have a tan one?
Yeah. And then she's like, like off-white.
Yeah.
Like Hispanic.
She's like,
the girl's like, I mean, it's just a baby.
She's like, I want a tan baby. Like, I want it to be maybe of an orange cast,
right.
to reflect the fake tanning. I just thought that was funny.
And of course, she knew that was gonna be Snooki's first judgment. She looked at it and she's like, this doesn't look like a Guido or whatever she said. I forget what she said. But she's like, this doesn't look like my Guido baby.
I know.
She's like, I asked them.
See, I put the request in for a tan baby. This is what we got. But so from fake babies to gay Joeys.
Oh my God, I love it. First of all, I don't know if you guys remembered last week, but I predicted it correct.
Yes.
I said at the end of the episode, I was like, hey, I just want more gay Joeys. I feel like the gay Joeys are going to come back. So I was so happy that they had a full-on like gay Joey night party.
I know. We've got to give you props.
Yes.
For a correct prediction.
Oh my God, yes.
Because that's awesome. Because you totally predicted the gay Joeys.
I just like I got it. I was really proud. But the hilarious part is bringing the babies to the bar.
Yeah.
Wow.
So in this episode, they had all three gay Joeys. They had them over. It looks like they had a little pre-party, some cocktails, hanging out, and then they went out to a gay bar.
For a very flamboyant good time.
With the babies.
With the baby.
And like Jwoww said, I'm not letting babies stop me from my gay night out with the gay Joes.
Right. And she's like, there's nothing better than hanging out with your best friends in a gay bar and with 2 babies. Like, what?
It didn't look that fun to me, to be honest, to have those babies there.
They looked out of control crazy. Like, I would be walking to that bar like, who the hell is bringing their fake babies into this bar?
Yeah. I mean, do they even allow fake babies into bars?
But it makes me want to, like, just do it as an experiment. Like, all right, thank you. Show my ID. Thanks.
I wonder what happens in situations where, like, people, like, in like, those kind of bars where people actually, like, really legitimately try to bring their baby.
Oh, I've seen that. Have you not ever seen a baby at the bar? Like, you have your baby at the bar. What movie is that on? It's on a movie, but
I don't know. It
is the grossest thing.
Yeah, it's like at midnight or 1 in the morning and someone's got their baby there at a bar partying.
No,
there's just something seriously wrong.
So wrong. That's not right at all. Like, you did it, obviously not get it out of your system.
I know.
Even after the baby got out of your system. What?
Well, let's hope that Snooki doesn't do the same thing.
I really hope not. But I thought it was really cool. I mean, like the change of dynamics when she went from complaining about it and keeping her up at night, and then she realized, well, I mean, this is coming very soon, so I just had to breathe and take care of it.
Yeah, and I think it's showing a little bit more of her maternal instinct is coming out.
Yeah.
I think it's hitting her harder, throughout this episode too, especially, we can kind of skip to that, but, when she found out the sex of the baby.
Yeah.
Like, that was a really emotional moment for her, the whole family, and I think it was hitting home.
Yeah. I mean, I think for people that choose to want to know the sex of their baby, that's when they really, feel the parenthood, the motherhood, the fatherhood. Yes.
The connection to what's inside. Because then they can start thinking about names. They can start thinking about him, my son.
Yeah.
Instead of like it. It's a crazy thing, I think, when people find out the sex of the baby.
Yeah.
Would you want to know ahead of time?
I do. What's funny is I went to a baby shower this weekend. I won't stay on this topic long, but my cousin, whose baby shower it was, she wanted to know the sex, and one of my other sister's friends, she didn't want to know the sex. So it was really interesting, like, to hear both perspectives. And my cousin's like, I have to know the baby. That's how, the baby sex, because that's how I know, like, what to get it, how to feel about her, how to,
Yeah,
and the other one's like, I just kind of want the surprise. So either way, it's a huge deal.
It's a big decision. I would definitely want to know.
Me too.
I'm a planner. I'd want to start thinking about it. I'd want to start getting excited.
Right.
Thinking about names.
Yeah.
Like, to me, it wouldn't even be a question. Like, I definitely want to know.
Like, do I want a flower little headband, or do I want a cute little beanie for the boy?
Yeah.
See, I need to know these things.
I do too. Exactly. Like, I completely agree. So, and it looks like Snooki agrees also.
Yep.
So it was and she had the name. She's like Lorenzo and everything. So, I mean, that's awesome. I'm really excited for her and Johnny and everything, and the fact that it was a healthy baby boy.
And maybe it worked out that they brought the fake baby into the sonogram appointment to kind of compare.
I know.
Having the fake and the real thing happen.
Yeah, I get the fake baby's there, sitting there, while real baby is being, just figured out if it's a boy or girl.
But I did think it was funny how Johnny's like, I don't care about this fake thing. Like, I'm worried about, like, the real thing that's on the screen. Like, screw this little
He's
fake.
like, I'm over it. But, I do have to go back to towards the beginning of the episode where, doggy makeovers.
Oh, my goodness.
I think this is the taking the Jwowwness or Snookiness of the craziness of their personality and their fashion choices to a whole another level.
Oh my God, totally.
Like, they're poor dogs.
And what's funny is I would totally do something like that for my friend and be like, all right, taking your doggies. I love how it was just like a total surprise.
Yep.
Jwoww didn't really have a decision.
No, she that's right. Snooki surprised her. So in this episode, for those of you guys listening, Snooki surprised Jwoww by dyeing her dogs pink and purple. And so Jwoww's dogs are Noelle and Bella, and she dyed Noelle purple and Bella pink. Like, and full on dyes. Like,
it wasn't just the finger, or not fingers.
It was
but like
the whole body. It reminded me of the old school Wizard of Oz, when they had those horses that were all different colors.
Yes.
It just seems so wrong.
I know. I get really turned off by, I love dogs, but I get really turned off by like foo-foo, bows and hair, dyed. Like, does a dog really want to look like that?
I agree. I get totally weirded out by that, by almost like human enhancement, like putting like toenail polish or dyeing or even like braiding the hair.
Right.
It seems wrong.
It's cute, I guess, maybe for some people, but I know that I get uncomfortable or just impatient when I'm dyeing my own hair and getting highlights in my hair. I can't even imagine being like a crazy little dog turning pink. Like, what the hell? I
don't think the dogs probably even know or
they probably
realize
don't.
It just looks bad. It just looks weird. It's just like, who owns that dog?
Right.
Like, who is connected and who did that?
Well, maybe that's Snooki's way of showing her motherly side. Like, I can take your dogs in for a makeover. I don't know. Who knows? But it looks crazy.
I think Jwoww was a pretty good sport about it, because if someone did that, I don't have dogs, but if I did and someone did that to my dogs, I'd be like, no way.
Yeah.
Like, how long does this thing last, and can we get it out
now? Yeah.
Like, my poor dog, I do not want it running around being pink and purple.
I can kind of relate, because I left my dog with my mom last week or a couple weeks ago. When I came back, she literally like trimmed the tail. Like, so now it looks like a big like rat tail. I'm like, Mom, did you trim my dog's tail? And she's like, no. I'm like, no, you did. And she's like, okay, I did. And I'm like, so I can totally relate to just being being surprised with a, physical appearance change with your animal. It's like your son.
It was just so weird. And well,
maybe some people like that.
It wasn't any surprise to me that that's something that Snooki and Jwoww did. So
not our thing, though, I guess.
No, not our thing. But I think that's for now that wraps up the episode, but we have tons and tons of news and gossip. There's so much going on right now with Jersey Shore and Snooki and Jwoww. But
we should mention iTunes.
AFTERBUZZ TV News.
But right before heading into that, definitely make sure that you go onto iTunes, listen to us on iTunes. This is how we rate us and give us your comments. We're here because of you listeners, and thank you so much for being here and supporting AfterBuzz. And don't forget to download the iTunes app. Great way to listen to AfterBuzz and any of your favorite podcasts.
Yeah. Rate us 5 stars, please. So going into some news and gossip. Oh my gosh, it was such a big week.
It's a crazy week this week.
Such a crazy week. As we already mentioned, congratulations again to you, Nicole Snooki Polisi, and Johnny LaValle, and having your baby boy. Hopefully your first of many Guidos and Guidettes, to Lorenzo Dominic LaValle. Very cute name, I think. He was a healthy 6 pounds and 5 ounces, born around 3 a.m. on Sunday morning. So this is a party baby. This is a baby that just, can stay up all night, I think.
3 a.m.
So I think, so today's Thursday. Is today day 5? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday 5 days. Whatever.
I can't wait to see what that baby's gonna look like. I think it'll be adorable.
It's gonna be it's gonna be the cutest little nugget meatball we've ever seen.
I think it will. When babies first come out, they're always a little bit kind of scrunchy and funny looking,
creepy,
but
alien. Yeah.
Usually in a couple months, they kind of come into their own, and I think this baby's gonna be adorable. Yeah. A little baby boy.
Oh, how can it not be?
Yeah.
It's gonna be wild and crazy.
It's so cute.
And I just love the nickname. The nickname for little Lorenzo is Enzo.
Yeah.
Come here, Lorenzo. I love all that.
It's a cute nickname. It's a great name. I think Lorenzo's a great name.
And Snooki's already up and doing her thing, taking your Instagram pictures. There's already been photos that are, all over the internet, and some short videos of little Lorenzo out there. So make sure to check him out. And I guess we'll see the little guy grow up a little bit.
Yeah.
So
sounds
exciting. So for bad news, so that was the good news. And in bad news, it is official. We got the news today that after the upcoming season 6 of Jersey Shore, it is now officially over. So our time in Seaside Heights is slowly coming to an end, so we definitely need to cherish this next season coming up, and it will be premiering in a couple of weeks, October 4th. But I think that overall, looking at all of the articles, the The cast have really good things to say, such as, all good things come to an end, tweeted by Pauly D. And there's also a couple of other tweets here I'd love to read to you guys because they're actually quite funny. From Vinny, his tweet, all right, so I guess I'll run for president now. Hashtag Vinny 2012. He is crazy.
He is. Well, I guess, Vinny was like a poli-sci major, so he does have an interest in politics. I don't know how serious he is there, but I can see him kind of wanting to go in that direction, possibly. I've heard that might be a little bit of his focus. Not so much running for office, but maybe some kind of a show or talk show where he discusses those things.
Yeah, I mean, I think that everybody would be interested in hearing what Vinny has to say. I think he's
Well, he could come from a young perspective.
Exactly.
It's nice to have a fresh voice, a young voice, and it would be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Someone out there. I mean, because all these Jersey Shore kids have so much. I'd say there's so many eyes on them right now.
Yes.
So he could take it in a direction that could be actually a really great positive thing. And I can see that with Vinny.
Yeah.
There's something about him. I can actually see him having a pretty long career in something like that if he kind of
sticks to it
and straightens things out a little bit. Not not
determined.
so much partyish and kind of puts himself in a different focus.
We'll see. And I'm just going to read out the rest of them because I think they're so funny. From Sammy, it's been one hell of a ride, but this is just the beginning. Thank you all for your love and support throughout the seasons. These memories will never be forgotten. Very nice.
And Sammy's kind of alluding to the fact that they are in talks, her and Ronnie are in talks to do their own spin-off show.
Yes, I heard that.
So, it hasn't been officially announced, but it sounds like
could be in the works.
It could be pretty serious.
Yeah.
And they started and ended the season together, or the current season, it sounds like.
Right.
And looks like they're wanting to do some kind of spin-off. I mean, they're just like Jwoww and Roger. They're definitely tumultuous, little bit of a rocky.
It's kind of similar, yeah. I mean, and with the success of the other spin-offs, Pauly D's project and Snooki and Jwoww, I mean, why not? Why can't they, be in it? Sometimes I just miss them. Sometimes I miss.
It would be interesting to see if viewers respond to the two of them on their own.
Yeah.
Because Pauly D had a great kind of his whole career with the DJ. That's great. I mean, it connects well with Jersey Shore viewers, the whole music scene, the party scene. And Snooki and Jwoww, they're just so big personalities on their own, and the pregnancy I think added a lot to it.
Of course, yeah.
And I don't know. Who knows if Sammy and
Roger. Ronnie.
If Sammy and Ronnie hold that same weight.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'd have to see.
And then really quick, so Pauly D says all good things come to an end, but hashtag Team DJ Pauly D lives on, and it's just getting started. Tweet I am hashtag Team DJ Pauly D if you with me. Snooki, yes, sadly it's true. This upcoming season of Jersey Shore will be our last, but it was freaking insane. I will always love my roomies. Ronnie, he tweets, I can always go work for Danny at the Shore store. LOL. That is so hilarious.
That's pretty funny. But with Pauly D, his new show, they haven't officially picked up a second season yet, so I think they're kind of waiting to see with that.
Yeah.
Hopefully there would be. I can see it.
I mean, it's gonna be like they said. It's just the beginning. Snooki's going off and doing her own thing. Snooki and Jwoww are gonna have their own show. Pauly D is gonna have his second season.
He might have a second season. Snooki and Jwoww are officially confirmed. They're filming their second season now. And Jersey Shore was the #1 rated TV show of MTV. Yeah. So the history of MTV. So there's a lot of things they could do with it. And I think in some ways, the party's over for Jersey Shore, but I think things are just like kind of Sammy alluded. I think things are just beginning. And I think MTV knows when to end on a good thing. You don't want to drag things out where nobody's watching anymore.
Exactly.
So I think the decision was a good one. Yeah. And I think a lot of the cast members are probably ready to move on. Right. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
What do you think?
No, I totally agree. I mean, it's kind of one of those things where if it did carry on a little bit longer, I mean, it's going to be the same thing. I think we're more interested on what they can do individually and on their own. We already know their dynamic together as a group. But one thing I appreciate and that I love about Snooki and Jwoww is things are a little bit different when they're on their own and they're not in Seaside Heights having to go to, Karma every night or whatever, And
it loses a little bit of the innocence at this point, because at the beginning they're these kids, nobody knows who they are, they're so fresh, they're so new, they don't have the fame, they don't have the money. Right. So at the beginning it really was a true kind of almost real world experience of throwing these strangers into a home and seeing what happens. At this point, everybody watching knows that they all have, definitely changed in regards to the amount of money they're making.
Right.
They've changed in regards to the fame. They have more other things going on. So you can't pretend anymore that they have to go to the Shore store and work there.
Right, they're just completely exposed. And maybe that's a way for them to be a little bit safer because, they've all been getting into their legal troubles and things like that lately. So,
yeah.
And what's interesting is another good article that our lovely Sparkle here pulled is talking about the popularities, Evie Sparkle, talking about the popularities of these shows. Last week's episode, Couples Hell, was the most watched episode with more than 2.2 viewers, a nearly 39% increase of viewership from the previous week. And I think it just has to do with the fact that these situations and these fights that this couple goes through is the same exact thing that real normal couples go through too.
It was a really very honest look into a real relationship. And I do feel that, and I have, heard and seen that Roger is really starting to get his own fan following. And especially, he's a lot more prevalent in the Snooki and Jwoww. I hope he'll be just as prevalent. Obviously, he won't be a roommate, but just as prevalent in the last season of Jersey Shore. Roger's funny. He's got a great personality. I think in this series, he's really showing that. And I think he's starting to have a really large following. So they reflected this entire episode, or a lot of it, around him. I think that partly has something to do with it as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just different. It's always cool to see somebody, like a dynamic change. When you see somebody's character come out of the usual shell, when you see him as like cool, crazy, like tough guy, masculine, into like obviously a sobbing boyfriend, those are things you appreciate out of somebody when they're real, when vulnerability, and when he can really truly break down. And so, I think that really gives the rest of us kind of hope, or at least just kind of well wishes to them as a couple, and to understand where other couples, whether they're exposed or not, to end things always on a good note, or to be able to talk about real things.
And that's
that was it.
Yeah, and one last thing too is the Snooki and Jwoww season 2 is already filming
in Manchester.
Yep. And it looks like, and it sounds like that the first part of it doesn't really is more focusing on Jwoww, not so much Snooki. So it'll be very interesting to see how that progresses. And with Jersey Shore now officially being over, supposedly this is going to air in 2013. So with Snooki and Jwoww being over, with Jersey Shore being over, the focus for MTV I think will be a little bit more on that too. They might do, I don't know, more publicity or things like that to really prop up that show. Yeah. So, all right. So thank you so much for that. That was a lot of news and gossip. A lot going on in the world of Jersey Shore. A lot for you fans out there, which is great for everybody.
And now.
Yes. And so I think that pretty much, wraps up the show, and let's do some predictions. Yeah. So, Hotspot.
Well, girl,
Now, your AfterBuzz TV.
I think I proved in this episode that predictions is my thing. Let's see here. I think that maybe the dogs will go back to being white.
You think?
The dye will just fade away a little bit.
Really?
I'm predicting a party. Let's have a huge party at the Snooki and Jwoww house, at the firehouse. Let's bring in some surprise guests.
Yeah, I'm predicting some kind of, like she kind of said it in the last episode, like a baby shower or something. I'm predicting hopefully something related to that. Like you said, party related, something positive. I feel this was a very transitional episode between like the whole fight, and they're trying to wrap that up, and so something lively and fun.
Yeah.
A party.
Let's party.
So we're predicting a party.
We're taking shots to the next show because we know we're going to party next
For sure.
Yeah. Nice.
All right. Well, I think that wraps things up. Thanks so much for listening.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later, bitches. Tweet me at MissCeelo, MISSC _
And I'm your host, Erika Vierka. Thanks so much for listening. Bye, guys.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.